Hello and welcome everyone to another CASA video. In this one, we'll be explaining how to add employees and set their permissions. In the last video, we discussed how to set up CASA and create our first store. In this one, we'll be discussing how to add employees to the store and also set their permissions as well as their compensation and things of that nature. To do so, first, just in case you didn't watch the first one, make sure that you have a store set up. So you can click the management button here and expand the stores. Here, it's going to prompt for a login since no one is logged in, as we can see here in the top left corner. This is a page that requires permission to open. Now, if you have not set up any employees, then you will not have any passwords that you can enter in order to access the screen. So for that reason, upon setup of CASA, I will be emailing you an admin password that will bypass this to allow you to do your initial setup. So I will enter that password right now. And we see now that we are in and we are logged in as an admin. Again, this admin bypass password is not meant to be used for any actual transactions and things like that. This is really just meant as a bypass for the initial setup. So we see here that we do have a store set up. We have two stores, in fact. So what I will do is I will actually go now to the employees screen. So once we go to the employees screen, we see we have many employees already set up, but I will set up a new employee for the sake of this video. And how we will do that is we will start by entering the employee's name. You do want their name to be unique. So you don't want to have any confusion, of course, with like sales commission and things like that. So it's best to make sure you have unique names for each of your employees. Even if you have multiple employees with the same name, add, a middle initial or add some type of denotation in their name that makes it clear which employee it is. In this case, we'll be adding Bob Mills, let's say, and Bob Mills' phone number. And as you can tell, the phone number text field does have auto formatting, so do not enter anything except the numerical digits and it will automatically format for you. We can enter when Bob was hired. So let's say he was hired today at the time of this recording. And then here, Bob can set his password, or you as the owner manager, of course, can set up their password for them. The password does have to be unique for each employee. You cannot have shared passwords across employees in CASA. This is just for security redundancy. So Bob will enter a password. And then we can add any notes about the employee. So if you want to enter perhaps their skills or their vacation days per year or what days off they take, anything that might be valuable to you to store in the notes. And then we can store their address as well and their compensation now. So the compensation section is quite straightforward. Firstly, we have the hourly rate of the employee. This is because there are tools in CASA to automatically calculate the payroll for this employee, and it automatically calculates their standard hours, their overtime hours, as well as their commission, and wraps that all up and makes it really easy for you as the owner or the payroll manager. So essentially, you'll just come in here and you'll enter, whatever their hourly pay is. You'll enter what their overtime threshold is in hours, which the standard default is 40 hours. And the default overtime multiplication is 1.5 times pay for any work that's done over the threshold of 40 hours. But of course, this is customizable depending on your state laws. And then lastly, here in the second section of compensation is the commission basis and the commission percentages. So CASA allows commission to be calculated either on the total price of sold items, or it can be on the profit margin relative from the sale price to the sheet cost of an item. So you can select how you in your store prefer to calculate commission for your salesman. And then you can add whatever the commission percentage is. So let's say I give commission on 3% of the total sale value. So I'll have the total button selected here, and then I'll just set it as 3% for whenever that user is the primary salesman. And then CASA also does support secondary salesman commission as well. And if you want to add a secondary commission percentage, then you can add whatever you like. Let's say you give 1.5% on the total sale for a secondary salesman, perhaps. The next step now is very critical. For this employee, we need to select the stores that this employee actually works at. So, as you know, you may have many locations, but you don't want to give permission to an employee to access data for other locations, perhaps. So, you want to come in here and expand the check combo box here and select the stores that this employee actually works at. So, in this case, we want to say, hey, Bob Mills, he only works at Cartoons. So we can just check the Cartoons box. And then if he also happens to work, or you want to give permission to Bob to look at Jihad's garage, then you can also add that as well. But let's just say we only do Cartoons for now. And lastly, and arguably most importantly, is the roles and permissions section. CASA has streamlined the roles and permissions to be the most valuable things to most store owners. So essentially what we have here is different categories of roles and permissions. So we have general roles and permissions, inventory-based permissions, permissions that are based on the different entities that are stored, and then purchase and return orders, invoices, and accounting. So these different sections, we can, of course, grant all permissions to someone if we want, just by clicking this check all button. Or if we want to clear, we can hit the clear all button. Then here in this toolbar next, we have copy permissions from. So what this does is if you have other employees set up and you're onboarding a new employee and you'd like to give that employee the same permissions as someone else, you can just go here and expand and select who you'd like to copy the permissions from. So let's say I want to copy the permissions from Jacob. I can come over here and select Jacob and then just paste his permissions. And we see that in the notification in the bottom right that the permissions have been copied and that he was given the following permissions. He's an installer. He can edit item prices up to the maximum percent off. On invoices, he can add miscellaneous items, but he can't do much else. But let's say, it's someone who's more of a manager type and we want to give a lot more permissions. We can copy from someone who's a manager, and there's a whole lot more permissions here. So that's just kind of a feature there that's there for your convenience in terms of managing permissions for your employees. And then once we're done, we'll just save Bob Mills and we are done. So now we see here on the left that Bob is an employee. And if we just double click him again, it will open the employee's information. So I'll double click Bob now and we see all of his information has been populated. Also, if you want to make a new employee from the screen, just click the clear/new button here at the top to clear all the info to start making a new employee. Thanks for watching this demo on how to add employees and set their permissions in CASA POS. We'll see you in the next one.